In this video today, we're going to focus in on what's next for the stock market. Taking a look here at the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, and yes, also the Dow, which is really setting up here very nicely. We're going to focus on what happened with the dollar today. As we talked about in this morning's live stream, we could see that the dollar so far has held that support over here from this channel. We're going to take a look at what possibly is next. Also, gold and silver, beautiful days today. We'll look at them. And we're also going to take a look at Bitcoin. We're going to do that all today. Before we get started, I just want to thank each and every one of you. That's 50,000 subscribers to the channel, an enormous milestone. And I thank each and every one of you for sharing in this journey with me. I truly appreciate and am grateful for all of the friendships, for all that I continue to learn, and for all that I get to share with you. So I just want to thank you very, very much. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not, welcome back. We're going to be looking at a pretty exciting session today. As we get started, I'm looking at this chart from Fidelity, and you could see these are drawdowns on the S&P 500 from 2-year highs. You could see 5% drawdowns are very common. That's what we currently just had. Now, we all know and have been aware of that prime support level trend line that we traded into over the weekend, which is why I sent out the video yesterday on Sunday as we were at that critical spot. And you could see it's really generally a good place to lean into the S&P. The S&P 500 and indexes are trend following machines because they're rebalanced all the time. Profitable companies and those with large market cap are added to the index, and those underperforming are then subtracted. Now, some people get in trouble leveraging themselves in 2 times, 3 times ETFs, right? Very dangerous. By the time you get the pullback, they're already all in. They don't have time to actually add and buy on the dip. And what happens is they wind up selling at the wrong time. You have to ask yourself where you think the S&P is going to be a year from now or 2 years from now. If you look at this chart over here, you're seeing a devaluation of the dollar over the last, 100 years. We're all aware of it. You all should be aware of it at least. Now, playing the stock market, investing in the stock market over the long run is also a play against that devaluing purchase power of the dollar. Now here you could also get a good look. Now this is not fair. You're only comparing 10 years to 100 years, 120 years, but you get the gist here why you have the dollar devaluing. You see Bitcoin really continuing to appreciate in value. I want you to focus right over here. This over here, okay? This is this zoomed in. It's the exact same pattern. And guess what? 4 years from now, this over here is going to look like this. Watch. Interesting. All right, let's keep going over here. Today we had the Nasdaq. We're going to look at the Nasdaq S&P right now. You had the Nasdaq with a very, very, very positive breath today. Usually very, very nice to see that after last week, just seeing the Nasdaq making new all-time highs with actually a declining breath. So that's really positive over there. There's something else I wanted to share with you before we get into the charts. That over here is you could see that retail, the Robinhooders, retail is making up for over 50% of the call volume. We've taken a look at Dr. Michael Berry's portfolio. We saw that he was ultra over-positioned into call, whether it was on Google, Facebook, and other tech stocks. It's not only him, it's retail. It's also some billion-dollar company, SoftBank, right? Everyone here is riding that option waves. It's interesting to see. It's very interesting to see retail making up over 50% of that volume. Let's get into the charts over here. We're going to start with the S&P 500. A couple of things that I want to bring to your attention, okay? We started off over here over the weekend, right? At the 33.39 support, trading right above it. And we continued overnight, just rising and rising, trading above and right now above this trend line resistance right over there. That gives everyone a little bit of breathing space. However, it's not over yet. If you look at what's happening, we continue, look over here, to make lower highs, right? We continue to make lower highs. We're consolidating. At the same time here on the S&P, we're making higher lows, okay? So you could see over here this pattern that's developing and why we're in it. We could break out or break down. It could go either way. We have the FOMC, a major high impact news event on Wednesday. 2 o'clock Eastern time is when the Fed will go ahead and release their rate decision. They're expected to remain on hold. They'll also issue their accompanying statement. It's a half hour later at the press conference when things really get going, specifically during the question and answer portion. We're probably going to have a special update that day. Now, we're not done yet. You can see over here, we're still consolidating. You can see where we are right now. I'm just trying to make it very clear. A breakout to the upside is going to be very bullish over there. It's going to be very bullish. Now, you all know I'm targeting in this area up here. That's coming in more or less around 3,500. Okay. Now, if you get the breakout, you still have time to look for that retest and then resumption out. It doesn't have to be as pretty as that, right? We might trade up all the way into this near-term resistance at 34.46, 34.47 in that area, and then come back down. Patience. That holding this trend line over here, that's a place to lean in once again. If you're not yet involved, you do not want to be buying today, this afternoon, as you're coming into this resistance, and you are trading into resistance right now. You could see this right over here. Now, be careful. Is there a good possibility that we don't break out overnight and we go on to consolidate? Yeah. Is it possible we break out over here? Yep. That's when you really want to look to lean in on the retest and resumption off if you're already not involved. Now, what else is going on here? I want to focus in on the Dow because the Dow is actually set up pretty nicely over here. This over here, we're closing right now above this area, which is now flipped resistance into support. That level is coming in at 27.85. You can also see this bull flag that I'm tracking over here. It looks like we've broken out to the upside and above this support. If we do hold this and resume out of this, start making higher highs, that's a good place to lean into the Dow, seeing some positive developments over here. What about on the Nasdaq? Let's check it out over here. Zooming out over here, looking at, by the way, this is the E-mini, the Nasdaq 100. If you're looking at the NDX, right, then you're going to be playing with different trend lines. That's not what I'm focused in on. I'm focused over here on the NQ1. This is the E-minis. You could see my trend line over here, right? That continues all the way up for months now. This is where we held support. Some people noticed, right, that the S&P came into the 50-day moving average. That's where it held. You don't need to focus on moving average. Focus on the market structure of support and resistance. Here we are right now on the Nasdaq. Nasdaq, how does it look? We're quite a day, up 2%. I showed you that the breadth, right, the advancers was very positive today. All good signs. What is going on is a similar structure. I like over here that we made the lower low. Right over there, we made a lower low. Why do I like that? Because that generally gets a lot of traders caught on the wrong side of the market. Some people go short here. Would we go short? Right into this area of support? Absolutely not, right? But a lot of traders do get caught off on the wrong side over there. That's why I like it. Now, you can see over here, we are dealing with lower highs, right? So you could see a similar situation that's developing as on the S&P. It's a lot cleaner on the S&P, but we have not yet made a higher swing high, okay? So what does that mean? Why am I focusing on that with you? Because although we put up a beautiful day today, 2% up on the Nasdaq, we're still consolidating. Okay? Patience. Patience. FOMC this week. I'm trying to throw out there the important things you need to be focusing on. This is what I'm focused on. Let's check out the DXY over here during the live stream this morning. Price was trading at the lows of the day before we got off, and I was saying, look at this over here. This was resistance. Here it broke. We came up, retested it. It held. Came back now and retested it again. I said, watch for it to hold. And if we resume out of here, this could be a trigger for a bigger counter trend move on the DXY, on the dollar. Watch out for that. How does that translate into the equity markets? Some people are wondering, could the equity markets and the dollar both be rising? Absolutely, of course. If you want to go see that on a chart, look at all of January, look at all of February of this year. Could gold and the dollar continue to rise together? Absolutely. Again, look at that same period. Super strong dollar. All of January, February. Gold, even stronger. Now, it is true, though, a weaker dollar is going to help the stock market. It is true a weaker dollar will help gold be bid. Nevertheless, we are focused in on what's going on with the dollar as it's at this critical juncture here. it is also putting in what? Higher lows. It is like the S&P putting up lower highs. It is still consolidating over here, okay? We do not have a read one way or the other yet. The FOMC meets this week. All right, are we gonna have turnaround Tuesday? Maybe. Let's see what happens. We're gonna play it out together over here. There is no edge. There is no edge. I did do my best to keep everyone from getting suckered into here this morning and just give it time and patience. We did rebound off of that support over here. You could see that we held the support so far. What's going on with the precious metals over here? If you zoom out for me, right? If I delete this, I'm going to delete this and then I'll add it back for you just so you get a clean look. Everyone should see two things. They should see, first of all, that this pattern, does that look like the S&P again, right? All those lower highs and higher lows. You could see this is the pattern that we're in right now. Now you could also look at it a different way. You could also look at it like this, as possibly also a descending triangle, right? And maybe we're breaking out over here, but I'm watching over here. I'm watching 1976. If we clear above 1976, ultra bullish. Now, let me be clear. We've maintained our bullish posture this whole time, even when we crash down to here, right? We've maintained our bullish posture over here. And as long as we hold 1900, that continues. This is, we've talked about almost every day, the technical bullishness happening in both gold and silver. It continues to hold. However, if we clear above 1976, right, probably what happens? Probably we come up towards, 1990 and then come back down, look for that retest and then resume off. That might take us towards a run at all-time highs. Be aware, it's you got to follow the price. You got to get out of your own head. You can't paint these own narratives and then get caught up in the narratives. Almost everyone has been looking, not everyone, but almost everyone out there is looking for this big pullback in precious metals. Until we get some technical breaks, that's not what we're doing. We need to get some technical breakdowns on silver that would be below $26. Below $26, if we lose, you could see over here another descending triangle that's forming over here. Not only that, watch with me really quick. Let me show you. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, go ahead and support the channel. Smash that like button. Do appreciate it. Here you can see over here this also, right? This triangle that's also developing clearly. It's all very clear. We have it in all the markets. We are really getting to a point. I said this is going to be a lit week, and I mean it. You could see everything consolidating down right now, getting ready for a break. I'm going to make sure that no one gets caught off sides because sometimes you get fake breaks. Sometimes you get a fake break, right? Crushing people on the wrong side. We're going to watch this. That's what I've been doing on the DXY, is making sure that no one in this critical juncture gets wrong-footed. Right? Doing my best to keep everyone on the right side over there, and I will continue to do that. I think of you all as my very, very close friends, and I want everyone really trading from a position of power. What else are we looking at over here? Let's look at Bitcoin today. Nice day, beautiful day on Bitcoin, obviously. Why do I say that? Because we broke out of the blue box. We broke out of the blue box. It was to the upside, and taking out the resistance at 10,572, right? By the way, do you all remember? It was all the way back here in the beginning of August when I moved my resistance at 10,400 after we broke above it to 10,572. You could see what an important resistance it was over here on the way down, as we had a couple of touches almost exactly to that point right now at the top of that blue box. We're above it now. One of two things is going to happen. Well, one of three things. This could be a failed breakout, and we could come down into the box. And then if we break down to the downside, it's all possibility, right? The most bullish thing, a couple of bullish things could happen. We could come back down and test that broken 10,572 broken resistance and flip that into support. That's probably your last time to get Bitcoin that cheap if that happens. That's probably your last time to get Bitcoin that cheap if that happens. If you don't like that I repeat myself, I'm sorry. It's something that's that important. I'm saying it twice for my own benefit and for your own. We could also continue rising over here into the resistance. This trend line is now resistance. This was support for through August and into the middle of September, beginning of September. That is now resistance. Probably we consolidate over here a little bit before breaking back up into there. So that's Bitcoin's looking very good right now today. Like it a lot. Is that coming off the back of a weak dollar? It could be. China also injected $500 billion into their credit system yesterday. I believe that's why gold, silver, and Bitcoin were bid today. We'll see. At the end of the day, all that matters is what price is doing and that we continue to stay on the right side of those trades. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for the 50,000 subs. Really a huge milestone. I put my heart and soul into this channel. It's really important to me. Grateful to be sharing it with you all. Have a beautiful day, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow.